Okay, hopefully my computer's cooperating. It looks like maybe it is. It didn't for a second. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, everyone. This is Sonia with Stamping Around the Dining Room Table. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would be happy to be yours. You can go to my webpage, stamparoundthetable.stampinup.net. There you can find out more about me. You can see our products. You can place an order. You could sign up to do a workshop, which you have family and friends come, you stamp together and earn some free product. You also can sign up to join my team and take advantage of the perks that come with that. Any questions, anything I can help you with, please reach out to me. I would be more than happy to help you. Okay, so before I forget, I'm going to zoom out. And this week I have been showing you the Share Milkshake Bundle. It is found in our mini catalog on page 12. Okay. And today I'm also, the paper I'm going to use when I actually put together the project is from the Dandy Designs, which is one of the free items that you get. This one you need to order $100 worth of things, but it's one of the free things in the Sale-A-Bration brochure. And for my sample card, I did use paper from the Country Floral Lane Suite. Okay, they have two papers there. All right, so just a quick little review. On Tuesday, when I introduced the set, I showed you these cards here. Now this, it was kind of silly. I didn't realize it, but I did this card and I was thinking that I had grabbed this color, but I grabbed that one instead. So later I made one the way I originally planned, but either one works. Okay, this is Calypso Coral, this is Mango Melody, and they're both paired with the peach, what is it called? Oh my gosh, suddenly my mind went blank. Petal Pink. Oh, and then I also did this one. This is all really just stamped. This had just a minimal amount of cutouts with it. This is stamped, and then I showed a way that you could decorate your envelopes, like you could stamp on it, and if you wanted, you could use some of the paper, like it, so it matches on the envelope, the flap. So, oh, hello Meg, thanks for joining. On Wednesday on my YouTube, I did these cards. I wanted to do some things more with the dies. So this one is, it's stamped there, and then it's stamped and die cut out for this one. This, I made it into the cone, but instead of making an ice cream cone, I punched out some of the flowers and leaves that from the Floral Lane, Country Floral Lane. And then I made this card, but I realized I could easily just use that as the basic and just change it a little bit. Like here, I stamped everything. I popped this piece up and I stamped everything on there. On this one, I stamped and die cut out, and I stamped them on the same color, but well, this I stamped it on crumb cake. They used the I'm gonna say the wrong color. The one I used was a soft suede on top of the crumb cake, and then I die cut that out. And this was just Balmy Blue on Balmy Blue, and the spoon Balmy Blue on Balmy Blue. And I cut those all out with the die cuts. I didn't pop the spoon up, but I did pop the bowl of ice cream up. And then took it a step further. I made a cone, and I did 3 of these little things of ice cream, and I figured out how I wanted it to look, so it looks like the ice cream's kind of like flying out, you know, ready to come out of there. Or another way that I didn't do it, but another way that I have seen people do it, and where did I put it? It's right here. is, just see how this, you can see it maybe a little better here. They did 2 or 3 of those, and they sometimes different colors, but then they layered them. So that's another way you could do the ice cream in there. Okay. So, but just to see, you can get, just by making small changes, you can get different looks with that. Okay. So today's Fun Fold Friday, and I saw a card that really caught my eye. I call it an envelope flap card. Okay, so you have this flap here, and then it opens like this. Okay, the flap goes behind whatever you put here. Now I saw people had used some flowers and things like that for it, but I thought I wanted to try to use it with this, so I did. And I said, okay, what do I want to do? And I thought I didn't want just white behind it; it felt to be too much. So then I said, well, let me do it on the Balmy Blue, and then because that's the color. Then I went, well, there's mint macaron in it, and then I'm going, but what do I want behind it? Is it going to be too much with the mint macaron? You know, what colors? This little bit of color here is actually, it looked almost closer to, yeah, get the right one here. Calypso Coral. I'll bring that out if I can. Well, I got a piece right here. It looked kind of close to Calypso Coral, more like a little closer to that, but maybe it all, see, it looked a little, because the colors that kind of, this is the Petal pink, so maybe it's that, or maybe it's the Calypso Coral. But anyway, so what I decided was I wanted to make my ice cream sodas in green, in the mint green, mint macaron, and I'd stamped it on mint macaron paper. It gets you a little different look than if you stamp it on a white background, which I did have one here, but I don't right now. Wait, was it? There's one of mine. I don't think so. No, those are all on green. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But for this one, I wanted it on the green. And so then I played around and I figured, okay, I'm going to do 3 of them. I cut out this little grid thing, and that they could be almost like the tablecloth. All right, and then so this is flat. This one's is not popped up, but it's on top of that one. And this one I popped up because you do need something like that. You need to pop up whatever one, at least one piece, so that this envelope edge point can catch in there. And then I thought, just to give it a little hint of this color, I did 2 straws like that, and I did 1 straw in the blue, just to give it a little bit of variety. And then I used the, make sure I'm telling you the right, the Pastel Adhesive-Backed Sequins for that. So, and I thought, I'm just going to say, life is sweeter with you. And because the inside was red on this one, I just put a little bit of the ice cream soda here, a blue straw, and then I put just a cherry in here because there is red on the inside. The outside, I just felt it might be a little too much, although that's close to red, it's more of orangey. So, but if you wanted, you could even do a cherry out here, that color. And I thought, well, if you wanted, you could even stamp something else here, as well as inside. So something like life is sweeter with you. Just see what they say in here. Life is sweeter with you. Celebrate. You're the cherry on top, or you're the cherry on top. Celebrate. You can even do something like that, so that there's, you know, or you could just have something here and something there. So it's really, you know, like always, it's whatever you like with your cards. So today I'm going to show you how to, I'm going to put a card like this together, but I'm going to do different colors. All right, so zoom in for a minute and hopefully remember to zoom back out. Do my best to, hopefully you can see that pretty well. And I looked, the one lady that I watched putting it together was not Linda Bedinger, but she mentioned Linda Bedinger is where she got the measurements. So Linda Bedinger did do this. She called it something other than what I'm calling, because I think she did it based on the cardstock that she was using. I just call this an envelope flap fun fold. Okay. So there. So I will stop talking for just a second or two. So you can, if you want, you can pause and, you know, get a screenshot of this. All right. A little longer, but then I realized it was up a little higher, so I wanted to bring it down so maybe it was easier for you to copy. All right. So your base is just, it's really like half of a card. Okay. So that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. For this card, I chose the Calypso Coral for that base. Then you're going to want a card, like a regular card, except it's going to be just a little bit smaller. So it's going to be 8 inches by 5 1/4. So usually it's 8 1/2 by 5 1/4. This is going to be 8 by 5 1/4. And then you score this in half at 4. Okay, so that gives you 4 by 5 1/4. So see, and it gives you, when you put it down, it gives you just that little bit of a border all around. Then you're going to make a piece out of your flap out of a piece of DSP, which I should have probably put that in there, but it's 4 by 4 inches. And to go inside, for your inside sentiment, that's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to put your card, this part of your card together. You want to make the flap and put it together. All right. So this, you're going to fold corner to corner. You can score it if you want. You don't necessarily have to do that. All right. And then you're going to, actually I can even leave this closed. You're going to put, this will fit like right in here, and it doesn't go quite all the way to the edges, okay? But you're gonna like that, so it'll be like this when you're done. All right, so I'm going to get my, and you can put your glue on the back here, whether if you want it to be the liquid glue, if you want to use a tape runner, you know, whatever your favorite, I want to get the edge here, your favorite adhesive is. Whoop, there and right. All right. And then, so the edge, you have the edges here. You can leave your card closed. You're going to put it right up. I'm going to do it this, like that. Make sure this is, hope it's over a little bit. Let me try. Well, anyway, just like that. So that will go like this. And then I want to make sure it's all, you know, adhered down well. All right. Now what you're going to do, because you see it's over there a little bit, you're going to take your scissors, and where did I put mine? Scissors, your shear, your snips. You're just going to go right along the edge of the card, straight up like that. Just cut that very point off. You can just, if you line your scissors right up next to the card, it's really easy. See? So it looks like an envelope. All right. Ta-da! There's that. Now, before you do it, and then this will end up going on here, and you're going to decorate the front of your card. Now, so what I did was, I think I will do that now. And again, use whatever glue you want. Oh, my card looks like it's a little crooked. Why is that? Oh, well. It's the back. Oh, let me get down here into the corner. Make sure, okay. Now I'm going to close this up because I want this, I'll be able to see, so I can get this, hopefully get this about pretty close to having the same amount of border all the way around. Okay, and where's my, I'm just going to use my bone folder just to make sure everything's adhered well. Okay, all right, so there's that. So we'll get ready to decorate the front of our card. Now what I did was, I'm going to do it similar to this, but this time I've stamped two. I'm going to stamp one to show you and die cut to show you how I put this together. So I used the for this one that does the ridges and stuff, I did it in the Calypso Coral stamped off once. All right, and then for the top, which goes over the top, it's a two-step stamp, I did Petal Pink. All right, so, and then for this, I did the Calypso Coral stamped off twice and then stamped on there. This full strength was too dark. Stamped off once was too light. Okay, and these, the color without it being stamped off like that, it was just once was definitely way too dark and twice was still darker. I'll just show you. I can show you, then you'll understand maybe better what I'm talking about, especially if you're new to this. Okay, so almost forgot. I hope you could see me putting the glue on the back and putting that on there. Okay, sorry about that. So here's the ice cream, and I wanted it, you know, I didn't want it too dark. You could have it darker if you want it darker, but with the, see, that was a little darker than I wanted, but this was really light. It's hard to see it. It might be all right, you know, once you cut it out. I'm just doing this on scrap paper, so it sometimes it is white, but because it's a different paper than the cardstock we use, sometimes it does look a little different. But here's with the Calypso Coral. So there's full strength, stamped off once, stamped off twice. And see, I like that. It's a little bit darker than that, so you can see it just a little better. Okay. And then, all right. So I just wanted you to see that. So where's my paper, my scrap paper. So put those to the side so I can kind of, so in my little, here's my scrap paper. Now I'm stamping on my Stampin' Pierce mat just because with the clear, you get a better impression if you do that. So I'm going to stamp off. Hope I didn't like how that, what did I do with this? Let me just try this again. Stamp off, and then there's that. And then the overlay, this second one that gives you the rest of the glass, this is the, I did it in the, I want to be able to, you can see everything here. This is the, yeah, Petal Pink. So now I'm going to line the edge of this up with this and the top with that, and kind of pay attention to the bottom that it looks like, so it looks like they all pretty much line up. But I always look at the bottom because it's easy along the side to tip it just a little bit. But there's that. It is off a little at the top, but we can fix that. We're going to cut it out also. So once we cut it out, we'll see how it looks. I'll show you how I figured out a way to fix that. So there's that. Now I want to do my ice cream. So I'm going to do that here. So those are ready to cut out. Then for the straw also is a two-step stamp, and it's got I'll show you on here. It's got little, like these are the stripes. Okay, so you stamp that first, and then, okay, just to give it gives a little bit. If you think that either of those are too dark, you can stamp it off. I would recommend, though, doing it on your scrap paper so that you can make sure you get the color that you are happy with. Okay, and this is going to go. So there's that. It's with the Calypso Coral, and this is with the Petal Pink. That's how and they're both full strength, because I felt that when I stamped off, it was a little too light. I did get it to the side just a little, but it'll be all right. As you can see, I don't always get it stamped perfectly, but it will be okay. So I'm going to close these up for right now. So hopefully I'm not getting it all over me. It's very easy to do that. And now I'm going to bring in my mini Stampin' Cut machine, because these all do that. Now, they recommend, that you use plate 1 and then one of these, and then you put your stuff in between in this. Somebody, one of the other demonstrators, found that she got a little better cut if she used the number 3, and it doesn't hurt the number 3. It doesn't hurt anything, really. So, and because you're cutting into the one plate, it does get beat up. So I try to keep one that I don't cut into. All right. Now, get out my, well, I almost forgot I want to cut that. I should have done that ahead of time. Oh, well. Maybe I don't want to, I don't know. We'll see. So, you just kind of line this up around the outside. You can use like I'm only going to do one, because when I tried doing all 3, one of them would move, and this did move a little bit, but it's okay. But you can use like a Post-it note, or some people have used washi tape because it's less sticky. I found that it still would sometimes pull up the paper, so I don't use that. Some other people have used some of the painter's tape that's and it feels like somebody used, I think it was the green one maybe, that people said that different people who've tried it have said that they felt it didn't stick to the paper. It came off easier in the end. It stuck good to keep it in place, but when you went to take it off, my thinners, you take it off, that it came off fairly well without pulling up the paper. There. Yay. So there's that. And then the last one is this ice cream, which, depending on what you're doing, any of these could also be a whipped cream. Just, there's different things you can do. There. Hopefully. Yeah, it stayed good. Okay. So there's all those 3 pieces, and let me just see here, because I didn't think about this before. Is that going to fit on there? No, I got to trim this down a little bit. Forgot how big is this, 2 inches? Yeah, maybe 2 1/4. So I can kind of show you what I used for the table, whether I decide to use it on this one or not. So here's this little grid. You don't have to use this, obviously, but it was kind of a neat little thing. Now, because there's so much little intricacies in it, I go back and forth on it. Up once, and you can look on the back to make sure that it looks like it. Hopefully, let me just make sure. Where's my I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I left it out in the other room when I had class. Yeah, I think those are going to come out okay. Come on. I left my pokey tool out there. Wait, maybe I've got another one over here. Well, of course I can't find it. It's always the way it is when as soon as I do my classes, I get a little here, this little, there, my little, a little pin I could poke out. And then these, sometimes they just fall out. Now if you want, you can put this on our double-sided, we have some paper it's, what's it called? Double-sided glue on, so that you put it on before you cut it out and it'll be like a sticker. But this is so flimsy that I just didn't want to use. I thought I'd waste a lot of the paper. And I found that, come here. Really, it's not that hard to, have a couple of choices on your, put this to the side. You can either put just a smidge of glue on here and use your what is it called? Your little sponge, and put it in and just put a little over. Or the other thing I found that I kind of like better is if with a tape runner, if you have a tape runner, this is not Stampin' Up's tape runner, but we do have one. It's called a Stampin' Seal. But you do this and I just make sure to try and get the edges of it so it will stick down. Okay. And see, it didn't even come through. So, all right. So that will be all set to go. I'm going to put that to the side. Okay, because I want to see how I want things actually lined up on here before I put that down. Okay, so, and I'll just show you, this is how I put these together. You can use your glue, you can use a tape runner, but whatever you use, I just put like a little, just very little bit, if I can get it. Why is it not coming out? Is that the one? Come on. Is that the one I was just using, or was it the other one? Yeah, this has just a tiny bit. You don't want it too much. You don't want it to, there. And then, if I can get a hold of it, just put this, just the very, very edge of it, whoop, and then it moved. So I can, with the liquid glue, I can slide it a little bit, just like, maybe. Just get it how I want it, there, like that. And I'm going to let it sit there for a minute. It's not going to stick to this, so I don't have to worry about that. This does not, usually not stick. See, the glue doesn't stick to the mat. Okay, and then I'm going to want, and I may want until I put them on, but I might want to glue one kind of, and then you can go up or down, however high up you want it. Okay, you can trim them down if you think it's long enough, you don't want to put it in back there. Okay, there was something I was going to show. Oh, is this the one? Well, I'll just show you on this anyway. You can take your Stampin' Right marker and say if this felt a little here, or right here, this was up a little higher. You can really just go along here like this and kind of even it out a little. Okay. I know this one has, like, it's all along there. Somebody said that almost makes it, they thought it made it look like it was the rim of the glass. How sometimes, the rim of the glass is a different, it's clear, it's a different color. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I set this down is I want to see about where I think I might want. So if I do it similar to the other one, I had one in back. I want that one in back. One kind of more like this. Whoop. And more like this. And this other one I popped up. What I need to make sure is that it's wherever I pop it, and I got to put, and this one will need to have glue dot, or I mean, what is it called? Dimensionals on it, so that this can slip underneath. Okay, so I wanted a little bit of that edge to show. I want this over here. Before I put it down, I just want to check this. So I set that down. So if I put this here, I can then figure out where I need to put those when I'm ready. So I just want to make sure, is the placement of that about how I want it? I think it is. If I can get I think that's about how I want it. All right, so I'm going to first put this down because the others are going to go over. This is like, as I said, that's kind of almost like a little tablecloth or placemat, or it could just be maybe even, might even look similar to the like a pattern on the table. Okay, I'm just going to put a little, again, glue, your tape runner, whatever you like to glue it down with. I'm using a little glue today, liquid glue. I don't always do that. Come on. Okay, so this one I want it right about there. Okay. And this one's going to go over the top of that. A little to this side, more kind of like that, I think. And then this one. So what I'm going to do is take my, which I just had here, and I got to see where I put them because I set them to the side. Up my dimensionals. I've got the, I'm going to use the edges of this. This is something else to show you. You can use to show that you can use the edges once. Okay, wait a minute. See where I want this. About like that. So I'm going to do this one. So yeah, that should go there. So I think I'm going to put this right along here. This also, because it's going to be popped up, if I put it along where the two come together, it does reinforce that so it won't come off. So if I put that there, the other piece down, another piece down here, which is a little, whoop, went flying across, and I cut it. Oh, it didn't come, yeah, it did, wait. And I cut it, went through the whole, the non-protective paper didn't come off. There it is. Okay, now let me see, I may need a little more, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, that goes in there, but I think I might want just a little more to make sure it's strong enough to hold, withstand all the it going in and out. So I'm going to put another one up here. Yep, let go. And I'm going to put what do I want down here? I may need more, but let me see. And put this like that. And that may be good, but I might want one more. So one more piece. Let me just make sure. It goes up. Oh, wait, that's not. Kind of like over just a smidge. I'm not pressing down, so that's how come I can pick it back up. All right, so let me just look here. Yes, I can put just a little more. It might be all right without it. I just want, without this extra, I just want to ensure that things are going to work the way I want them to. Put one more here. It looked like one more might fit down here. So that's what I'm going to do. I just want to be sure, as I said, that I'm sure somebody's probably saying, oh my gosh, she doesn't need that much. She really doesn't. But as I said, I just want to make sure with this being opened and shut, I'll make sure I got that. Nope, now I got it. Wait a minute. Maybe too much, maybe a little too thick. Let me just see here. It works. Okay, there. So what I need to do now is my straws. Put my straws in where I want them. So I can only see two here. Oh, here's the third one. I'm like, I know I had three. So now I'm going to have to trim it down, but I just want to kind of see where do I want these. And if this one, if I can, again, because I got the glue all over it, slide that there, that there. And actually, I'm probably going to put it on top there. And this one, about where do I want this? I want this there. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll trim this down just a smidge. That can be stuck under there. And I'm going to put a dot of glue on the top, the bottom there, and near the top on the back there. I think I got too much there. And slide that right there like that. Okay. And over on this side, I know I need to trim this down. Well, that one could be a little longer because that goes there, and actually, all right, can I lift that up a little? I should have played with that a little more before I put this on. There. I might put another little bit under that just to help hold that in place, but we'll see. That, and now the last one. So I got one going, one right here. Whoop. See why I might want a little bit to hold this end up, otherwise it's not supported. Now let me see. Do I want this one? Let me do that one. Okay, I'm gonna cut this down. And let me see. Maybe like that, or do I like it more like this? This is the thing, trying to decide where. Oh, actually, I think I kind of like it on this side on this one, but it's a little long still, so I'm going to just do that. Do like it in the other one. Little drop on the front. And then a smidge on the back. Or I could put it down here too, where I think it's going to, I might have got a little too much there. There's that. All right. Here's my mini, right here. Even with these, sometimes these are a little big, but you can cut them in half, which is what I'm going to do here. I think then I can get this, half of this, and go on the back of this straw, because with it popped up, it's not going to do well. Sorry, I got to get my head in there, in your way, to make sure it's on the back and not show. I don't want it to show. Now wait, everything's sticking to my fingers because I got some glue on it. And bending this back, but there, whoop, and this is moving. Why is that moving? There, like that. There, I finally got that. Oh. Okay, oh my goodness gracious. All right, move stuff out of the way here so we can then decide what we're going to do next. I always feel that I make something look harder than it is. It's not hard, but you know, sometimes things are a little, I call it fussy. Other people call it other things, but a little bit. You just got to take your time, and it's not, and I'm sorry if I'm making it look more difficult than it is. So you could put, as I said, you could put some little thing here. You put your sentiment down here. So let me just see. Put a sentiment here. You could put something here if you want. Okay, maybe even do one of the dishes of ice cream could go there. All right. And I think I'm going to put Celebrate on this one, which I didn't take out of here. Yeah, so let me just get Celebrate, just to have it be a little different than what I did last time. And I'm going to do it in the Calypso Coral because I think it'll jump out a little better. But if I don't like it, I can always turn it over and do it in Petal Pink on the back. So move everything here out of the way so you can see me stamp this. And I can trim this. I'm going to move it up and trim it down just a little bit. So let me see first. Yeah, I think I like that. Let me, just to show you, because, and this is sometimes, I do this sometimes if I'm not sure. I think I like the darker better than I'm going to like the Petal Pink, but just to show you. See, the Sale, I almost feel like you almost lose the, here, let me trim it down so it helps us see it a little better. But I do think you almost lose it when it's later like that. Okay, well, they would have to come down a little too, but there's that Celebrate. See, I think, and especially because there's enough of the darker color, I think you really need it in the Calypso Coral. So that's what I'm going to do. And this other one, I had it flat, but just to show you, if you wanted to pop it up, I'm just going to do that. Whoop. And there's how it looks popped up. But I think I do like it better flat if I can get this off here. Yep, and still will be able to reuse it. So, well, this is here. I put my glue away. I'm just going to do this. There we go. All right. Oh, and then for the inside, you just are going to put, you'll put this. You can decorate it and put that in. I'm not going to do that right now because I think I've taken a little bit longer than I meant to, so I'm going to end it right here. Close this up and move it off to the side so I'm not making a bigger mess than I already have. There we go. There we go. So, okay. hope you might try some of this. It's and as I said, the other ones I saw were they were with flowers, but you could really do it with anything. You know, and you're depending on what paper you pick to go with it, you could actually have it more elegant, you know, so, or more rustic or whatever, you know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And until we meet again, happy crafting, my friends. Bye-bye.